Many landowners throughout Arkansas and Louisiana are fortunate to have the opportunity to own and enjoy forest lands. Now, through the help of both private and public partnerships, landowners have more opportunities to engage in active forest management that can provide economic and environmental benefits. Active forest management results in better quality trees, increased wildlife, and healthier forests.
I grew up in the hills and hollers and pine thickets of north central Louisiana, and I just never got it out of my system. My personal forestry story started when I was a sophomore in college. An uncle passed away, and in his will, he left me his '65 Ford pickup truck and 20 acres of land. At the time, I thought the pickup truck was the gift of a lifetime. I later found out, however, that the 20 acres of land was by far the most valuable gift that I could have received. Over the years, I've bought many tracts of timberland and have harvested trees. For me, I have two simple purposes. Number one, I want my timberland to be profitable. Number two, anything that I can do to interest my children and grandchildren in the land, enjoy the land, learn the benefits of the land. That's what I want to do. One of the things that I've done on one of our timberland tracts is create what we've called an outdoor classroom. It's simply a plot that we've gone in to be able to maintain by bush hogging, and it serves as a site, if you will, to host school groups, teacher groups, and industrial groups. By doing that, we're able to share good stewardship of the forest, best management practices in the forest, and growing sustainable forest. The outdoor classroom also provides an area or a way for me to be able to measure the performance of that particular stand. For each individual tree, we're trying to capture the most resources that tree needs to be able to be as productive as it can be. We are cutting trees, but we're also always growing more trees. I think one of the most important things for a landowner is simply to have an objective. Many landowners never give that much thought. Being able to partner with landowners as well as forestry professionals helps me to learn and stay up to date on the latest forest management practices. If you want your timber to be more marketable, then you want to become a certified tree farmer. My grandfather was one of the very first certified tree farmers in Louisiana, tree farmer number 5, as a matter of fact. So I'm a third generation tree farmer. So what does that mean practically for us as landowners? It means that our timber is going to be more marketable. It means that we're good stewards of the land, and it means that we're seeking to provide the best management practices for our forest and timberland that we possibly can. Another best management practice that has allowed me to keep my timberland profitable is controlled burning or prescribed burns. Prescribed burns are a way to eliminate the competition for the trees that we're trying to grow. Being able to partner with prescribed burn contractors and prescribed burners is a great tool that we as landowners can use to improve our forest productivity. When I think of my legacy as a landowner, first and foremost, being able to leave the land in better shape than it was when I first found it. Secondly, anytime I can get my kids and grandkids on the timberland, I am just the most proud pawpaw I could ever be.
Well, our family arrived here in the 1850s, and this land had been in row crop agriculture for most of that time. We started hunting here in 1978, and among other things, we had a lot of quail here back then. It was nothing to be outside and hear quail whistling all around you, and we hunted them, of course, and enjoyed it. In 1980, we had a severe drought that came early, and there was cotton planted here, and I think the combination of those things, along with the herbicide that was sprayed, we didn't hear another quail. Dad set the example in 1988 when he had the property enrolled in the CRP program with USDA. But after the pine trees were planted, we didn't manage them, and we certainly didn't meet any definition of active management. We didn't know any better at the time. But just recently, I think in 2017, I came to learn through a number of conservation partners about the resources and some of the programs that are available to private landowners, and that's when we entered into to the Conservation Stewardship Program. The year before we began our practices in the Conservation Stewardship Program, Arkansas Game and Fish has a program called Acres for Wildlife. Through that program, we partnered with them and did a controlled burn on each pine stand here on the property. That got us kick-started and prepared us for what we began to do in the subsequent years through the Conservation Stewardship Program. It's been amazing to carry out this 5-year plan with the conservation partners. Almost 40 years to the day, we went without any quail here. We didn't see them, we didn't hear them. And just this past Memorial Day weekend, my brother-in-law and I were outside doing some work, and we heard some quail right out here in these pine trees. Of course, we were ecstatic, but it really demonstrates the point. In less than 3 years' time that we've been able to work with these partners in conservation, after a 40-year absence, a species has returned. We couldn't be happier. Sustainable forestry management. There's a role for any number of facets to that. It's not just growing a tree and never touching that tree again. In fact, I've come to learn through these conservation partners, that's exactly the wrong thing to do. So harvesting timber, certainly prescribed fire, all of these management decisions are part of it to try to make this forest and the land just as good as it can be for it to fully recognize its potential. Anyone who has been involved with any level of forestry realizes it's not a short-term proposition. You always have to look a long way down the line. If you're a landowner and you're not actively managing your property, all I could say is I think you're missing out. Being on the property and trying to do your best actively managing it is a very rewarding experience. Properly managing the timber, there will be harvest and it can create a revenue stream. If you labor under the impression that you have to have a sizable tract of land to actively manage it or to partner with some of these other conservation groups, that's just not so. Since working with this team and learning from them, I've been so impressed with how much we can do through active management that's the same as Mother Nature would have managed this ground. This little place isn't a tree farm, and it's not a hunting camp. In my eyes, it's just another member of the family. A lot of sort of landmark events in this family's life have taken place here, and hopefully it will for a long time to come.